I'm Sylvia Gordon, known as the Medicare Mama on social media, where I have over 1 million followers who like to tune in and get ready for retirement. If you want to know about Medicare, Social Security, and other topics about retirement, I'm your lady.
Diversified Game. Learn how to start, run, and sustain your business.
Hey, it's Kellen, and today on Diversified Game, I'm so happy to say that the game that you get, the information that you will receive here is something, if you live long enough, it is going to be necesito. That means it's necessary, people. You're somewhere down the line have to deal with Medicare. And right now, I just don't have the mama of it. I'm gonna call her even like the queen of it, because her JD even like verifies that you're not just getting that random babble that a lot of people are giving online, gonna tell you how you're gonna become rich overnight with Medicare. That's not what we're doing. No, but she is gonna tell you how you're gonna be able to live hopefully a more abundant life. So Medicare Mama, welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
Great. Thanks for having me.
Can we start with the stuff that's probably the most simple and basic, and the problems you keep seeing over and over, and with your big YouTube audience of, you're almost close to 200,000. Congratulations on that on YouTube alone. What do you want to scream to the people to say, stop doing this?
Stop listening to all your friends and family. Your brother-in-law is wrong. Everybody tells me in my comments every day. Now, I heard this, and it's like, whatever you heard is wrong. It's either outdated information or it was never correct information. So you have to do your own research. Find an expert, find some resources to make sure you are not making these permanent mistakes, lifetime mistakes.
What qualifies as an expert? You have a JD, so people are more trusting of a JD or an MD. Everyone's not going to be able to even pass the the LSAT, not to speak of the bar, in classes. So what qualifies as an expert? Who should they be listening to, outside of you or with you, because we just don't want to make it seem like, hey, if you retire tomorrow, who can they listen to? Who else is there? What qualifications?
Well, just because somebody has a JD or an MBA or any set of letters behind their name, they can still be stupid. So I want you to talk to people and check your gut. Ask them questions. A lot of people are intimidated. They don't say, hey, how long have you been doing this? Just because the guy has gray hair, he might have been new to the Medicare industry in the last 5 years. Now, we all got to start somewhere. But I've been doing this 30 years. And people typically don't ask me questions. How long have you been doing this? How many people have you helped? What is your portfolio? Do you work for one insurance company? Not a good sign. Do you work for 5? Better. Or do you work for, in my case, I work with 150 different insurance companies. Now, you don't need somebody that works with that many, but you don't want to work with somebody that works with 1 or 2, right? So ask some questions. Feel comfortable interviewing people. And then, like I said, go with your gut. If you feel comfortable with them, I don't care if they have letters behind their name or not.
Are you a successful entrepreneur or one in training? You've got the vision, but do you have the right partner to build your brand, your team, and your future online and off? At cprfirm.com, we offer expert consulting, financial guidance, and life coaching because we believe in doing life with our clients. After all, what is it for a man to gain the world and lose his soul? Founded by Callan Cash Coleman, we help our clients not only succeed, but plan to retire rich. Your business deserves the best. Start building your legacy today at cprfirm.com.
Should they have some type of certificate to be able to deal with, Medicare and what your future may look like? Is there anything like that? Because there's some people who are just saying, hey, I'm the stylist, the hairstylist. Listen to me because, I can get you this money real quick. Crazy people out there.
There are people that bill themselves as Medicare consultants, and they charge you $1,500 to give you advice. And their whole pitch is, I'm not an insurance agent. I'm not going to make a commission. I don't know why that's bad, but that's their pitch, and they attract people. You want a licensed insurance agent that has to go through all those processes, have errors and omissions, malpractice insurance, have the oversight of your state Department of Insurance. I wouldn't be afraid of an insurance agent. If they sell private Medicare Advantage plans, they have to have hours of annual training to sell those types of products, which is another reason you might get an agent that says, I only sell for 1 or 2 companies, because that might be only a couple hours of training. If you sell for 10, 12 companies, then you got to do, multiply that considerably to do the annual training to sell for those companies. So if somebody has a wide offering of products, that person's done a lot of work, has a lot of oversight, and is more likely to be an experienced agent.
And do they always, come with the hook? I know you don't have to charge upfront, but the commission, but some people do say, hey, because, maybe they're only working for 1 or 2, but that's their product. Therefore, they're pushing this as the best thing ever since sliced bread, which George Carlin said sliced bread isn't that amazing. It's a slice of bread. It's bread, you cut it. But, they need to be licensed. Can you state what that license is? And I say that because I don't think people hear me always when I'm talking. And I say, hey, what are their credentials? And they say, why do they have to be credentialed? And why do they have to, even pass grade school? They said they can make me money. So I want them to hear it from your mouth to their ears.
But when you want to sell Medicare insurance products, you have to get a state insurance license. And then you'll have to be appointed with every insurance company, and they will check out, do a background check, do a financial check, see if you have any felonies before they will license you to sell their products. And a lot of people don't know that every state Department of Insurance will allow you to go search an agent, and you can go put in Medicare Mama. And if I had any complaints or suspensions on my license or in troubles, it would all pop up. And you can go do that. People are afraid to go do that. It's out there. Or just ask your agent. Your agent should be able to tell you. Honestly, it's something that shouldn't be off topic. How much work does it take to get a license, maintain a license? Do you have insurance in case you screw up, malpractice insurance? And have you ever had any compliance problems with any of the insurance companies?
Now, one of the problems that I'm seeing now, people, 50 and above, is they say, I should have started earlier, made a lot of bad mistakes. Now I'm retiring, and I thought, my Social Security was, this is a real conversation. I was telling someone who's about to retire in the next 3 years, I said, go to ssa.gov. And they said, what's that? And I said, oh gosh, do you know how much you're going to get when you're done with all of this? And they said, yeah, no say, they have no idea. So can you help the people who might be right now in their 30s, their 40s, maybe even in their 50s, like my friend? How do they need to get a hold of this to learn? Is there a course they need to take? Please let us know.
So the first step for anybody 18 and above is to go set up your own account at socialsecurity.gov, ssa.gov. It is free. I would say it's easy to set up, but it's not as easy as it used to be, because now they have 2-factor authorization and keep it safer, which is good. But go set this account up. If your parents don't have one, if your spouse doesn't have one, set it up. One, you want to set it up because it's going to show you how much money you've paid in. Social Security is pay to play. People have this weird misconception that when you retire, you're just going to get $1,500 a month. No, you could get $50 a month. You could get $5,000 a month. Right now, that'd be the person that's getting the highest Social Security check. How much you get is based on how long you worked, how much you paid into Social Security in those delightful little FICA payroll taxes. You might have noticed that they take money out of your check, every single check, going for Social Security and for Medicare. So you want to set up that account at socialsecurity.gov. One, to get an estimate of how much you would get at the different ages. So if you want to retire at 62, your earliest, what would it be? And you're like, whoa, I can't live off $2,000 a month. Well, maybe don't retire at 62. It'll show you how much you'll get at your full retirement age, which for your viewers is going to be 67. And they're going to be like, oh, $3,000 a month. Maybe that's doable. But what about waiting all the way up till 70, where you can get the maximum amount of Social Security? Not that I'm recommending that, but it will show you the estimate, what you would get at 70, the maximum. So getting access to looking at how much you've paid in and what the estimates are is the first step to planning your retirement.
Hello everyone. Come along with London and Sydney as they show you around the vibrant country of Cameroon. We explore the heart of Africa through the eyes of London and Sydney. Two explorers who journey across the great city of Yaoundé, exploring its rich culture, vibrant market squares, cultural heritage, and wildlife. With giggles and excitement, London and Sydney Explore Cameroon takes you on a fun-filled adventure, providing insight into the country's culture and traditions through the pages of this book. It's packed with exciting stories and super cool facts about Cameroon that will make you go, wow. Get your copy now, available on Amazon and in libraries near you. There's only one easy way to experience the exploration of Cameroon, and it's through London and Sydney. Don't wait, get yours.
So I'm so glad you said it. Can you also let people know, because some people hear, again, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, you name it, Red Note, doesn't matter. People say, oh, well, so-and-so said they were getting, 5,000, 6,000 a month. But like you had stated, they made over 180,000 for the last 30 years, maybe. And that's why they're getting this money. You making 40,000, maybe even 60, maybe you're killing at 100,000. You're not going to look at the same thing. Can you help them gauge how that works? Because again, when I say it, I think I'm saying it in Mandarin, Swahili, bad Spanish, mal español, but they don't hear me. I say it matters what you're making right now, and don't go buy the Lambo, don't go buy the Aston Martin, which that is my favorite, gold car, but I just want to rent it because I don't want to pay $18,000 a year for that maintenance. But can you let them know the ranges of where they need to make the 3,000? How much do you need to be making to make 3,000 so you can say it in Queen's English?
There is no possible way. I am not your lady to do the math for you. Social Security is going to be based on your 35 highest years of earnings. So here's the Queen's English, the simple. If you want to make the maximum Social Security check possible when you retire, and I don't know how old you are, so what that's going to be. But if you want to get the top amount, first of all, you'll have to plan to wait to retire until you are 70. That gives you the maximum. Then for your whole 35 highest years that you're working, you need to make the maximum income that they tax. They don't tax all your money for Social Security. They tax it all for Medicare. So this year it's about $176,000. So if you're making $1 million, it doesn't matter. They're only going to tax the first $176,000 for Social Security. And that goes up a little bit every year. So if you're at the maximum for 35 years and you wait till 70, whatever the maximum amount actuarially, mathematically works out to, you're going to get it.
And she said that's why she went to law school. And but you got to do your research. And, this is a person you can trust because she's a Girl Scout leader as well. She can kick your arse in Matako and Taekwondo, being, a black belt. That, why did you get involved, with all your other accomplishments, with the Gordon marketing and everything? Why did you get involved in helping people with this? Was it just that you saw so many people making mistakes, or was it something where you said, oh, I can go get rich doing this because most people don't know?
So first of all, it's going to take you forever to get rich because selling Medicare supplement insurance is probably the slowest way to get rich in insurance. That pays you the least amount of money. If you want to get rich in insurance, you're selling life insurance, you're selling annuities. So this is a get rich slow scheme. I started off as an estate planning attorney, and I told my parents, since my parents started this business 45 years ago, I said, I would never get involved with this. It's boring, it's frustrating, and it's too dry for me. I'm like a little bit more flamboyant. And so they suckered me in. They said, okay, will you just work 1 day a week? Because my house was right across the street from the office. I'm like, okay, I'll do 1 day a week. And then I became the president of the company after 10 years. And then after 20 years, we became one of the largest national distributors of Medicare insurance products in the nation. So they suckered me in. And the reason I loved it, it wasn't necessarily that I loved helping people with Medicare, which I do. I really loved working with my family. So I think if they were shoe salesmen, I'd probably be an expert in shoes right now. But I really loved working with my family. There's about 13, 14 members of my extended family in the business. And we all enjoyed working together. And so helping people was an extra because I do enjoy helping people. It is gratifying.
This is for the parents out there because you followed what your parents did. And, it's very old school where if your father was a cobbler, you're probably going to be a cobbler or a carpenter, and you followed that. And now your son has followed that too, heading the company. How did you, like, for the parents out there, because here we are all creating these businesses quicker than probably ever in the history of this country. But then you create something and you're like, oh, I'm winning. And you tell your kids and they're like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. And they have no plan of success. They just know they don't want to do what you did. Maybe it's the way you're doing it, but how did, that work? What was the formula? And can you bottle it up and put it on your website or Amazon?
It is true that insurance is one of the throwback industries where the kids go in it. There's not a lot of people that go into insurance just out of school. They go into it because their dad or their mom or their uncle or their brother brought them into it. So it's still very much a throwback business. And like I said, most kids immediately are like, I'm not going to do what my parents do. That's just a natural rebellion. So I was like, I don't care. I don't care. I helped my parents in the business starting when I was 13. So I understood the business by the time I graduated college at 22. I understood the business. I was just like, I'm going to do my own thing, And they, like I said, they suckered me into it because it is so gratifying to help people. There's 11,000 people that turn 65 every day. 11,000 people. And I would say probably 99% of those people have no idea what to do, where to start, who to trust, how any of Medicare works. So there's a real need for what we do. And yeah, I'm having fun doing it. Working with my family, icing on the cake.
Okay, I'm going to go back to it. What did you tell your son to get him in the business? Was he always, gung-ho? I know why Goose got in the business. I know why Goose is the dog, you guys, the office dog. He's happy to be there. But was your son always happy to say, hey, I want to help out?
I told my son not to go into insurance when he graduated, like a good parent. My son had very high grades from a business school, and he was offered a very, very high paying job in New York. I said, take that job. He goes, but I don't want to work there. I want to be in the family business in some capacity. I said, well, if you start out with us, you're gonna make no money. Like there's no salary, there's no benefits, there's nothing. You have to build it up, and it's really, really hard, one client at a time before you'll be making any money. It'll be at least 3 years of a really hard struggle unless you want to move home, which he was like, no. I said, well, take the job in New York, do it for 3 years, save the money so you can afford to go into insurance. He's like, no, because then I'll meet somebody in New York and I'll get married and I'll get addicted to that income, and I'm not going to do that. So he said, I'm going to just come into the family business, but I'm going to start my own side family business. So his own insurance division. And I said, okay, cool. Are you going to move back home because you don't have any money? He said, nope, I am going to sleep in a tent. Okay. So we have 30-acre property for our businesses. So he slept in a tent. I think that lasted 2 weeks. Then he said, is it okay if I sleep in my office? I was like, sure. Are you going to come home and shower? He's like, nope, I don't. I'm grown up, Mom. So he would go to the gym in the morning and shower. He had a little office, slept on the couch, had a coffee maker. And my son did that for about 3 years, and we all kind of laughed. But that's how you build a business. You don't take a loan, you don't let your parents give it to you. You build it from the brick up. And that's how the Medicare family was built. And that's how our other insurance businesses were built. Nobody gave us money. Once you're successful, it's easy to look at people and say, oh, silver spoon. No silver spoon, no salary, no benefits. Insurance is a straight commission business. If I help you, enroll in your Medicare supplement plan. I'll make about $300. Now, took me hours and hours of training to get to the point to help you with that. And then I will be answering your questions whenever you need them for the rest of your life. So $300 this year. If I sell you a drug plan, most of the drug plans don't pay us anything. Some will pay us $50, it's $25. Most of them don't pay us anything. So people don't realize how little money is in it. But if you have thousands of clients, then you make a good living. Everybody's got to start at the beginning where they have no clients, and not a lot of people have the appetite to sleep in a tent or go back, move home with mom. But my son did.
Can you, when you talk about thousands of clients, because we hear people and it'll usually be someone's friend or cousin, and sometimes they make it seem like network marketing. See, you're going to start, then you're going to get one client, then you're going to get your friends, and then you're always going to be making money off of these people. And, people have the hardest time trying to sell to the first client when it's something new, no matter what it is. But to make a full-time, and I say six-figure because when we go online, that's all people care about. Like six figures is, $1 million, and $1 million ain't $1 million anymore. How many clients do you need to say, hey, I have a six-figure income selling insurance, doing what you're doing?
You want to make $100,000 in insurance, in Medicare insurance, like I said, which pays the smallest amount of money. You probably need around 800 clients, and it's going to take you probably 5 years to get there. So it's not a get rich quick scheme, which is one of the things I like about agents that sell Medicare insurance. Not that being in anything for money is bad, but if they were in this business for money, they get out. They would sell life and annuities. You sell one annuity product, you can make $6,000, $12,000 commission, one sale, versus making one Medicare supplement sale where you make $300 first year. So it doesn't attract those type of guys. Not that those guys are bad. They have a thirst for more money. The people that go into Medicare insurance, that go into retirement in this area, they like helping people. It's gratifying. And they definitely do not do it for the money. If they do get rich, it is a long road to riches. It is a byproduct of a lot of work of helping a lot of people and keeping those people happy. You're going to keep them happy if you want to continue to be successful in this business. It's not one and done.
Can you explain the process of keeping them happy and keeping their processes paid, where people go through all type of, financial gains and losses? But what does it take? Is it calling them quarterly? Can you put it on, automatic AI and say, hey, it's me, and do a virtual, just checking in on you. I want to make sure you pay, how does that work? How much time does that take per client?
I have some people that call us, email us constantly. So much so that when I hear the voice, I'm like, hi, Jerome, how are you today? Because some people are more needy. Some people's budgets is much tighter, and they're terrified of a potential rate increase. They're terrified of a potential change in their benefits. And then there's other people that say, look, I trust you. I'm going to read we send out a weekly newsletter. We update our website daily. And of course, I put out 3 videos a day, 3 short videos a day, and 1 long video a week on YouTube. So people you're putting it all out there. If I have questions, I either start watching your videos, go to your website. I'm going to call or email your company. So be accessible. Put a lot of content out there because stuff is changing daily, absolutely every day. I could put out 10 videos a day with all the changes that come out every single day. I don't know if people have the appetite for that, but we put it out there so that if they do want to stay up to date, we're going to be their resource.
That's awesome. Can you give a community give back that you're doing or that you want to do in the future? At first, when I was doing my research, I thought your community give back was having your ex-husband and his new wife part of your company still. And I'm like, what a saint she is. But what is a community give back that you haven't mentioned yet that you are doing or you would like to do in the future?
Well, I started doing my TikTok videos as a community give back. So I was like, I'm kind of slowing down in my career now. And I spent 30 years learning all this stuff. And there's not a lot of people that know what I know. And I felt like it was a shame just to stop using it. So I'm like, okay, I'll make little TikTok videos and just help strangers. I just put stuff out there, a variety of topics. And there's nobody out there that has the variety of retirement topics that I talk about, because, most people get in a lane and they become an expert in financial planning or an expert in taxation or an expert in Medicaid planning. But there's not a lot of people that transcend all those channels. So I thought, since I know it, I'm going to give it back. And it's been so gratifying because I've had so many people email me, call me in my comments saying, you changed my whole course of my retirement. I didn't know I was eligible to get Social Security off my ex-spouse. I didn't know I was eligible to get widow benefits. He's been dead 20 years and I get so much more money that my retirement is completely different than it was before I found your little video online. So it's very gratifying. That's whenever I get tired, I'm too busy to do it, or people are mean in the comments and I'm like, screw this, I'm out. I got to remember all the strangers I'm helping that don't even take the time to thank me, right? I don't need thanked. I am doing it as a community outreach to help people, especially women, especially stay-at-home moms and widows that have no idea how this works because their husband always handled it.
Mm. And you talk about the ex-spouse and getting, that's somebody right there. It's like, wait, my spouse had passed, 5 years ago. I don't know. And when people die, it's always interesting because nowadays everyone's like, well, you should sue the hospital, or, both of my parents, biological parents, are deceased. They're not just the things that people would say. And I'm like, well, what about Social Security? And it's like, man, we are way older than being able to, like, we're not minors. So, do you also, when you're consulting people, I can only imagine the time that people take. I did not see a book yet. I did not see like, hey, book me for a paid session. Everything seems to be free. The capitalist in me says, do you have I know you have the cheat sheet, but even that seemed to be free. Do you have a book or even a movie? Like, this would be a great movie. You kicking arse, and telling people, hey, do this, don't do that. But it'll help you in the future. Like, any plans for any of that?
So this sounds bizarre, but I wasn't trying to make money. I know I'm an anti-American, but I made a good career training insurance agents. So I actually started this for fun, not to make money, not to sell a course, not to make money. So after 4 years of people asking me, will you please write a book? Because they said they like my style. Now, my style, I like to say it's a little folksy. It's oversimplified. Like I'm trying to break it down. And they said there's nobody out there doing that. So I did write a book, and my book will be out the first week of April. I'm not trying to make any money on my book either. So I want to make enough money to pay for the cost of getting this book published. But I don't have paid courses. Any type of course I put out there is free. I put everything out there free. It's open. Like, you don't have to register to go to my website. You don't have to worry if you watch my Medicare workshop that we're going to call you 15 times. I mean, I know how to monetize this. Everybody, they collect your data and they sell it. The money is not in helping you. The big money is in selling your data, your email, your phone number with your date of birth. We don't do that. We're not trying to do that. My son's generally, his company is to help people with their insurance. And my role genuinely is to help him and help strangers. I'm not trying to monetize everything I do. If you want the book, cool. It will be out on Amazon. It'll be on Audible if you like audiobooks like I do. If you want to do Kindle, it'll be out the first week of April. And it's about Medicare, Social Security, and a lot of these other retirement topics that I talk about. Like I said, nobody wrote that book. It's called Medicare Mama's Guide to Medicare and Social Security. So.
Okay. And will it be, I have Fomenke Publishing, it's our publishing company. And I tell people it's just because I would like to be able to control the children's books, especially that we put out. But are you going to also be available in the library? And a lot of times, if you don't have like a deal, going through
Right.
Ingram Spark, you can be at least eligible for the library, unlike Amazon, unless you do some big campaign. Any plans that the people can request it from the library, since you like the free 99 model, and we love people like you going for sainthood, with the free 99. It's but will it be available through the library system as well?
Well, so I didn't get a publisher. I self-published the whole thing to keep it short because to keep it cheap because it's a very long book. So I don't really know if it'll be available in libraries. I have somebody on the team that's trying to reach out to libraries to figure out how that works. So I hope to do that. But like I said, I didn't go through a publishing house. There's no big machine behind me. I figured most of my followers, they're the ones that asked me to write the book, and they'd be the ones to buy it. But we'll see how this goes after it comes out in April, and maybe people can give me some advice how to get it out there more.
Okay. Well, I did say it. That's the teachable moment for this episode. You go through Ingram Spark, it's more eligible to be in the CAT system, which is how librarians find your book. And as long as you follow, the formats and how they want it, because what you find out is, the librarians like, hardcovers for children's books because kids eat books sometimes. And, that's not for everybody, but that's the game. It's not hard. It's not difficult. I took about 6 months off to learn how to sell to libraries. And I was like, okay, wow, that's interesting. So with the book, I'm so excited about the book because you could actually and I want you to talk about how long it took you to become black belt certified in Taekwondo. Somebody seeing you would not expect that if they, tried you, that they might get like a kick to the face, kick to the gut.
I have a very high roundhouse kick. Yes, that took 4 years. So during law school, I did that at night to wind down. And my husband was in the military, so our Taekwondo studio off a military base was all military guys, and then little old me. And I learned very quickly that my punches were useless against men with rock steel abs, and I learned how to survive with what I got. I'm 5'7", not very big. So yeah, I highly recommend martial arts to anybody. But it was for me, it was kind of like meditation.
Okay. And have you not done jujitsu? Have you not gone over?
Nope. I started with other softer martial arts, and I stopped at Taekwondo because when I tested for my black belt, I was pregnant with my first child, and I spent the next 10 years having 3 more.
Wow. You were busy.
Yep. So you can't really do martial arts when you're pregnant.
Yeah, you were busy, and online, people would say, okay, the stork brought them, because nobody would see where those were coming from. Besides being the queen of Medicare, you also are the queen of hats. Tell me you have a hat line coming out.
So the funny thing about my hats is that I wear hats because I'm a very lazy person and I don't want to do my hair. And I'm also very cold in the winter. So I wear a hat because it feels good, And then all of a sudden, people are like, where do you have so many hats? I'm like, you guys are the reason I have so many hats. I'll just go home, and people have left hats on my porch. They put hats in my car. They leave hats on my desk at work. They're like, I bought this hat. I really thought it was cute, and I just don't feel comfortable wearing hats, but I know you'll wear it. And I do. So they're like, where'd you get that hat? No idea. Somebody left it for me. I don't buy a lot of hats. I did go to an auction when I was 17, and I bought a huge box of hats from the 1930s and 40s. So my obsession did start a long time ago. I was an eccentric 17-year-old. But yeah, now I'm kind of famous for wearing the hats. And if I do a video without the hats, believe me, people are very upset in the comments. They're like, what is going on? I don't know you without a hat.
Really? I mean, because you have a perfect set of hair. You have like Julia Roberts thing kind of going on with the hair. Then it's flowing, right?
The hair is not good. The hair is not good. Plus, I have a super huge forehead And people go crazy over this forehead, or as the kids like to call it, a 5 head. And so when I don't wear a hat, they're like, what's up with the forehead? Oh my God, the forehead. I'm like, big brains, buddy. Big brains, big forehead. Okay. So I'm
Wow.
covering up my asset right there.
Yeah, if anyone online says that, they are looking too hard and too close and probably are not a contender anyway. So keep your comments to yourself. Uh, gosh. Um, I love that what you're doing, and that you have the book coming. I can't wait. Kat, please, send me the link so I can buy the book. I don't know. Can you pre-order the book now?
You can pre-order it on Kindle.
On Kindle. I got to be able to touch it.
I
Touch
know,
it, or I have
I
to have
know.
the.
Especially a book like this, it's not a novel. So you're
Mhm.
going to buy it and you're going to read a chapter that you have a question about right now. And then you're going to read another chapter, a different chapter later. You're not going to sit down and read this book cover to cover. It's not that type of book. It's like a retirement workbook.
Okay. And are there different versions or formats of it, or is it just going to be one format? Sometimes, when you say workbook, somebody might say, "Oh, I can draw in it," and then there's another side book where I can I don't know, take notes. But is it one format?
I had people ask me for large print, which I agree. My retiree, followers want larger print, but it's already 350 pages. So if I make it large print, it's gonna, triple that. So I made it larger than normal book print. So I can't say it's large print because it's not like 16 font, but it's like 13 font. So that is a nice feature of the book that you don't find, for people. Retirees like to be able to read it without the magnifying glass. My dad's magnifying glass is right here, so he could read the books.
Yeah, and I think this is a book. I say these are the type of books that you have to study. Like when you read something by Peter Diamandis, The Future is Faster Than You Think is one I always recommend to people. You just can't breeze through that book. You're going to need to say, wait, hold on. They have what available? And then go do your research to make sure you're not reading sci-fi and say, wow, did not know that existed in the AI space. And so you're going to have to study this book. And with that, the information is always changing. We will say that because we'd hate for someone to read this or see this interview 3 years later and say, no, on page 76, she was wrong. Things change. And with this administration or any administration, things are really going to change because that's the type of world we're in. Besides SSA.gov, what are the other necessary websites people need to have bookmarked and at least check quarterly, if nothing else?
So I can say go to Medicare.gov, set up your own account, go to socialsecurity.gov, but they're really hard to read and understand and navigate. So I put a QR code in the book, and then I tell you repeatedly in the book, this book is 2025 accurate. So if you're reading this book because your friend gave it to you 3 years later, go to the QR code for accurate for that year. And then, of course, our website is updated. My Social Security and Medicare cheat sheet is updated annually. And there's free resources at the end of the book that you're eligible to get when you get the book that will have all the updated changes whenever you read the book. And then I will do a revision of the book every couple of years too. But I mean, so much has changed in Medicare and Social Security from when I started writing this book a year ago that I kept making changes. And finally I said, okay, I'm done. We're going to publish this because it's April, let's get it out there for the rest of 2025. And then just go to our website or other resources to see what's changed since you bought the book. But yeah, you can go to Medicare.gov. You can go to socialsecurity.gov. If they were easy to understand and navigate, I wouldn't have written the book.
Oh, yeah. It's not even when you were mentioning, SSA.gov. We do government contracting. So I remember the first time going in there and it says, don't make a new account, but you can use what you use for government contracting. And I'm like, no, I can't. I tried. You guys won't let me in. Maybe I'm on the secret security clearance list and everything's not connecting. But one of the questions people always have is, one, will Social Security even be around when I retire? And say, first, worry about that, I guess, when you get there, but there should be other investments you have, mutual funds, ETF. But we have a whole bunch of crypto bros now saying, I want to do it the crypto way. Do you see any changes to how crypto, if you're really heavy on that, how that can impact, because you might be a crypto billionaire, is that going to impact anytime in the near future your Social Security benefits?
So crypto is just an asset as it stands right now. It does not impact any of your asset tests if you're getting any type of benefits. Anything broad spectrum that I'm talking about where they're gauging your assets, they're not really looking at crypto because it doesn't really kind of exist yet. But if you bought crypto, that means you probably had a job, a wage where you paid into Social Security, and then you took your profits and you put them into crypto. Now, a lot of people think they're not going to need Social Security because they're going to be a crypto billionaire, which is cool. I'm very pro crypto myself, but a good, smart retirement plan is diversification. You don't just want an IRA, you want also maybe a Roth IRA, and you don't just want some stocks, but you want to have some more secure stuff stable in some bonds. And you might want to work with a financial planner, and a lot of young people don't. They want to do it all online because they feel like they have everything at their fingertips. But diversification is the answer for everybody. And the reality for the generation that's retiring now is they weren't very well diversified. They put it all in their 401k at work, and they thought, well, I got Social Security and 401k, I'm good. And they don't realize their Social Security is less than what they thought it was going to be. Or they don't realize that their 401k can tank, or they could lose it, that job, so a lot of people are in a bad position when it comes to retirement, and more people are being forced to work past their retirement age because they got to keep money coming in.
I don't know if you have a word for, now everything is at the fingertips. Is it in West African Pidgin, we would say like sense past king, like people think they're smarter than the king. And we've run clients and say, look, will you just pay for your insurance, right? I have State Farm and AMA because of my situation. And I get to have AMA insurance. And I tell people, you can do the same thing because your wife too is a doctor. And they say, okay, I'll pay all of these things. And then once they get to like, I've paid for my health insurance, I've paid for, I can't do a backdoor Roth. I've had a client tell me that. I mean, I can't do a Roth. And then when I tell him he can do a backdoor Roth, it's like I ruined the party. Like, no, I wanted to go like splurge on that money and go buy like a hot rod or something. Do you see generational gaps, or is it the same story that in America we have so much credit, so much, just availability to be able to start a business today for less than $100 in most states, that we just, what is it about us that we're not planning? Because I'm seeing that most people are not ready for retirement. And I'm 43 years old. My people are like, Kelly, you're tripping. Like you're thinking too much about retirement. I said, no, I just don't want to be suffering because I don't want to have to worry about my kids having to, be a burden on them. So do you have a word for that, or what is it? Is it a generational thing, or is it the same story just repeating itself?
Well, it's definitely very different generationally because younger people, so you are young, are in your generation, there's mostly two income families. There's very few stay-at-home moms anymore, which used to be the standard. And the people that are retiring now, lots and lots of women that were never in the workforce at all. They were a homemaker their whole life, or they worked just a little bit of part-time jobs around the kids' schedules and then around caregiving for their parents or their in-laws. So they didn't have very much money on their own, and they're very dependent on Social Security. If you're two income, if you and your spouse both work, you're both going to draw your own Social Security benefit. You're not there. There's spousal benefits aren't going to come into play unless one of you vastly out earns the other, which, really didn't happen in the olden days. So a lot of men are disappointed when their wife passes away, of the generation I'm talking about right now. And they're like, well, I want to get a widower benefit. My wife died. It's like, you vastly out earned your wife. You will never get a widower benefit. Now that'll be different, and the generations are coming up where sometimes the woman is the higher earner. This generation, the women are very much a generalization, but very much not aware of all of the family finances. It's very common that women will say, I have no idea. I have no idea how any of this works. My husband died. I don't understand our insurance. I don't understand our investments. Nothing. The younger generations, we grew up with computers. It's going to be very hard to find somebody that doesn't at least have some cursory knowledge of how their finances work, right? Because it's everywhere now that we're comfortable with it. So that is nice that the young retirees, the new people coming into retirement are more comfortable just using a computer. I can't tell you how many of our clients, they can't even begin to think about setting up an account at socialsecurity.gov. Sometimes they can't see very well, sometimes they're very old computer systems, very bad Wi-Fi, a lot of technology that's preventing it. And they're like, I got to go in person. I got to do this the old fashioned way, because the barriers, the sight, hearing barriers of getting older.
Yeah. Yes. And I smiled when you started talking. I thought you were going to go somewhere else with the women out earning the men. And I'm thinking, like, on your YouTube channel, you're doing great numbers already, especially for what you're talking about, and not over sensationalizing. But that gets people into wanting to argue with you. And see, that's the problem. Women working, and and she started working and making more money, she left me, and that's why. And it's like, that's a whole nother side of YouTube. But I love your channel, and I'm going to be sharing this with some of our friends, family, and even clients, because you're giving information. You have a unique style. Don't stay in a box. Just go all the way, go all the way. If you have to do it in a circus, we got to rent out a circus and talk about Medicare. I don't know, with the little people and the big people on stilts, because people really, this is information you need to start on now. More than I, the people that who have the $1,500 a month, and that's all that they have, and they're suffering right now. And when you see the nursing homes, it's the difference between the Aegis nursing home that sits you by the window or outside, versus the Aegis in downtown Seattle that has the beer and the wine on tap that the priests are hanging out at with the movie theater. And they say there's more sex that happens at that Aegis than happens at the club. So if you guys are worried about that, don't think that that's ever going to leave you. But please give the people any last words, where to find you. I appreciate you for this. This is going to change somebody's life.
So everybody says when to start and where to start. And it's like, start whenever you want, okay? Because it's out there, but a lot of people can't start at your age because you're in your 40s, you're raising kids. You're too busy raising kids, trying to get them through school. And then you edge into the next decade where now your parents need your help and you're spending a lot of time helping everybody. And then maybe you start to have some grandkids and now they're asking, hey, can you help? So you help so many people, and all of a sudden you get to maybe 60, 62, and you're like, oh my God, I have neglected to learn this. So is everybody else. Everybody's been really busy. You didn't really need to start concentrating until about 60. But I made the videos so you can find me, The Medicare Family, on TikTok, on YouTube, on Instagram, on Medicare Mama, on some channels. But I made the videos because they're little. It's 1 minute a day. You're stuck waiting for the dentist. He's running late. You can watch a 1 minute video. You can watch a couple 1 minute videos. And if something's like, oh, that's something that really pertains to me, you can watch it a couple times and feel like you mastered that and move on. It's not a whole commitment to a huge course. You don't have to read a whole book. The videos are a great place to start, and I put them out there everywhere, and they are free. No obligation. You're not going to watch a video and now somebody's going to be calling you 15 times. The book will be available starting in April, and I hope the book helps people. I think it'd be a great book for people that are getting ready to turn 60 or anybody thereafter, maybe that hasn't even stopped working yet. So the videos, I would say, would be my number one place to start learning a little bit at a time to get you ready for retirement.
You guys have been blessed with the game. She said 15 times for a reason, because that's how many times Allstate has called me back trying to sell me something. But I say, fix my gate. Milton ruined my gate. Fix that. So you guys, I want you to go in the description. Thank you for coming to the end. I know most of you are listeners, but go over for the YouTube, the Facebooks, for the visuals, so you can put a name with a face. And then you probably need help. Most of you need help. Don't call me. Don't email me. The links are in the description. Medical Mama, Medicare Mama, she's the one who's certified, qualified. I don't know. That's why I have guests like this on. You guys, make sure you comment, make sure you like, but most importantly, make sure you share this game with somebody. It will change their life. Remember, it's a family business. It's different.
Are you tired of the violence, tired of the injustice, police brutality, rampant discrimination, lack of gun control in this failed biased socioeconomic experiment called America? Or maybe you need a break from the relentless grind and want to regain control of your destiny, your wealth, your health, and your purpose. DiversifiedGame.com has the right course for you. Prepare for my first trip to Africa. Looking to reconnect with your roots, start a new business, or just a fresh start. Africa, aka the motherland, is waiting. Don't let the Chinese and the Mzungus have the fun and also take over the motherland. From Cairo to Mombasa, from Dakar to Cape Town, Africa has something for everyone, from business opportunities to the most amazing people, safety, leisure, and landscapes. The opportunities abound. It is time for the diaspora to reconnect with their roots. Time to reconnect with the birthplace of humanity. Africa is the last frontier. Get your head in the game and reclaim your legacy. The writing is on the wall. Babylon is falling. Give up the stress, grind, and violence inflicted on our people on this continent and prepare for a journey of restoration and joy by connecting with the land of your ancestors. Check out our new course and kick off your adventure at diversifiedgame.com.